had a plan, a ring, a future. But the girl he wanted, she didn't even know she'd captured his heart. Welcome back, my wonderful family and friends. If you're tuned in and ready to dive into today's story, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment letting me know where you're watching from. Tomorrow, I'll be bringing you another exciting story you definitely don't want to miss. So, let's get started. Ava Monroe never believed in perfect timing. Life had rarely offered her any. Between juggling double shifts at the hospital and caring for her younger sister, romance felt like a luxury reserved for people who actually had free time. But everything changed the night she met Landon Hale. It was raining hard, one of those cold, slanting storms that made the whole city feel heavier. Ava was leaving the hospital after a 14-hour shift when she saw a sleek black car parked by the curb, hazards blinking. A man stood beside it, staring at a flat tire like it had personally offended him. He wasn't dressed for bad weather. No umbrella, no coat, just an expensive suit plastered to his skin. Ava hesitated. Normally she kept to herself after work. But something about the defeated way he sighed pulled her in. "Rough night?" she asked. He looked up, and she was not prepared for the face she saw. Strong jaw, rain-soaked hair pushed back by sheer will, eyes the color of dusk, cool, steady, assessing. He wasn't just handsome. He had the kind of presence that made the world pause. "I seem to be losing a battle with basic car maintenance," he said, managing a tired smile. Ava bit back a laugh. "Do you even know where the spare tire is?" "I was hoping the car would tell me." "Cars don't talk," she said. "Yes, well, mine apparently disagrees." She stepped closer. "Pop the trunk." He obeyed a little too quickly, as if relieved she was taking over. Within minutes she was pushing aside luggage worth more than her salary. When she found the spare, she shot him a look that made him raise his hands in playful surrender. "I knew it was there," he insisted. "I was getting to it." "No, you weren't." Rain dripped from her hair as she crouched to loosen the bolts. He stood beside her awkwardly, unsure whether to help or stay out of the way. "Do you fix strangers' cars often?" he asked. "No," Ava said, tightening the last bolt. "Just saving a man who clearly has never changed a tire in his life." He laughed, and it wasn't the polished, charming laugh of a wealthy man trying to impress. It was warm, real. When she stood, he reached out instinctively, steadying her as she slipped on the wet pavement. Their hands touched briefly, electrically. "Thank you," he said softly. "I'm not used to people stopping for me. You looked like you needed someone to." Lightning cracked in the distance, illuminating the chiseled planes of his face. For a flicker of a moment, Ava wondered who he was, why a man like him was stranded alone in a storm. Then he extended his hand. "I'm Landon." She shook it. "Ava." Their hands lingered a second too long. Neither of them knew it yet, but this was the moment everything in their lives quietly shifted. The billionaire had found the woman who would change him, and Ava had just met the man whose love would test everything she believed. Ava couldn't stop thinking about him. Not because he was handsome, although God he was, but because something about him didn't fit. The suit, the car, the way he carried himself. He wasn't some ordinary man caught in the rain. He was something more, but she didn't expect to see him again. So when Landon walked into the hospital lobby the very next evening, she froze mid-step. He was dry this time, composed, dressed in another stunning suit, but his eyes went straight to her as if he had been searching since the moment he walked in. "There you are," he breathed. Ava blinked. "Are you stalking me?" "I prefer the term following fate." She tried not to smile. "What are you doing here?" "I came to return this." He held up a small folded piece of paper. It was the receipt from the tire shop. "You overpaid." Ava frowned. "You drove all the way here to give me back $10? "No," he admitted. His voice dropped, softer, warmer. "I drove here because I wanted to see you again." Her breath caught. Men like him, elegant, confident, carved out of mystery, didn't look at women like her. Not the tired nurse with messy bun hair and circles under her eyes. But Landon looked at her like she was the only steady thing in a world he was tired of navigating. A nearby nurse whispered, "Ava? Who is that?" Ava ignored her. "Okay," she said, crossing her arms. "You saw me. Now what?" He smiled, the kind that warmed even the coldest corners of a person. "Have dinner with me." Ava snorted. "You don't even know me. That's why I'm asking. I don't do impulsive dinners with strangers. I'm not a stranger. I'm Landon. That's one name. I need at least 3 facts." He raised a brow. 3. Yes. All right. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Fact 1. I haven't been able to stop thinking about you since you fixed my tire. Fact 2. I cancel meetings for absolutely no one. Except today, apparently. Fact 3. I really want to know the woman who rescued me from that storm. He was charming effortlessly, but she sensed something underneath. A heaviness, a loneliness, like he carried a secret life she wasn't allowed to see yet. She shook her head. I don't date randomly. This isn't random, Landon whispered. The way he said it, it felt like a promise. Or a warning. Before she could answer, an emergency call echoed overhead. Ava stepped back automatically. Duty first. Always. Rain check? He asked with a hopeful smile. Maybe, she said, trying to sound unaffected. He grinned, slow, devastating. Then I'll wait. Ava hurried toward the ICU doors, but she glanced back one last time. Landon was still watching her. Not like a man interested in a date, but like a man who had already chosen her. A man who wasn't used to hearing the word no. For the next 3 days, Ava found him in the hospital lobby at the exact same time. Sitting quietly, reading a book, or simply watching the revolving doors as if waiting for her to walk through them. He didn't pressure her, didn't flirt aggressively, didn't try to impress her. He just showed up, and that somehow worked more than any pickup line ever could. On the 4th day, Ava walked downstairs after her exhausting shift, fully intending to ignore him again, only to find him standing beside a small table, on it 2 cups of steaming tea. Not coffee, he said before she could comment. I noticed you don't drink it. Ava blinked. How did you? You always choose tea from the break room machine when you think no one's watching. She stared. He noticed that. Landon picked up the cup. It's chamomile with a bit of lemon. You drink that when you're stressed. Ava took it without speaking. The warmth seeped through her fingers, and for a moment, she let herself breathe. You pay too much attention, she said softly. Only to the things that matter. Ava's heart fluttered, genuinely fluttered, for the first time in years. Fine, she sighed. 1 dinner. His eyes lit up, bright and boyish for someone who carried himself like a king. You mean it. A simple dinner, she corrected. Nothing fancy. Simple, he repeated, as if locking himself into a contract. I promise. Ava expected fast food, maybe a small local restaurant. Instead, Landon walked her through a quiet street downtown until they reached a cozy, candlelit bistro tucked between 2 bookstores. Small, warm, and nothing like the flashy restaurants men brought women to when they had something to prove. This is perfect, she said. I know, he replied softly. That's why I chose it. They sat by the window. The lights flickered gently. A soft piano played in the background. Everything felt intimate, almost too intimate. So, Ava said, leaning forward, tell me about yourself. Landon hesitated. Not a long hesitation, but Ava felt it, like he needed to flip through a mental file before answering. I manage various business ventures, he finally said. What kind of ventures? Mostly investments. Investments in what? People, he replied. Ava narrowed her eyes. That's a non-answer. Landon smirked. Is it? She rolled her eyes. Are you always this vague? Only when I don't want to scare someone away. Ava laughed. Why would your job scare me? He looked down at his glass. Because people tend to treat you differently when money is involved. For a moment he seemed lonely again. That same quiet heaviness she felt on the day they met washed over him. Ava softened. I don't care how much money you make, Landon. Everyone has a job. He lifted his gaze slowly, like her words had struck a tender place inside him. You say that now, he whispered. But you don't know me yet. Then tell me, she challenged. Landon opened his mouth, paused, and then closed it again. Something held him back. Something big. Soon, he said instead. I promise. She sighed. You're a walking mystery, and you're dangerously good at making me want to reveal things. Ava looked away, feeling her cheeks warm. But just as she was starting to relax, starting to enjoy the moment, Landon's phone lit up. One name flashed on the screen. Her brows pulled together. Is that your? He grabbed the phone quickly, flipping it face down. It's nothing, he said too quickly. But his eyes hardened. Someone called him sir. Not Landon. Not boss. Sir. And the energy around him shifted like he had stepped out of the shadows of a different life. One she wasn't supposed to see yet. Ava felt a chill. Landon, who exactly are you? He looked at her slowly, like he wished she hadn't asked. A man who hopes you'll stay long enough to find out. The dinner had ended beautifully. Soft laughter, warm glances, moments that felt too perfect to be accidental. Yet Landon's mood had shifted the instant that mysterious call came in. Now, as they walked out of the bistro into the cool night air, she glanced at him from the corner of her eye. He was tense, his jaw tight, his shoulders squared, his steps sharper than before, like he was preparing for a fight no one else could see. Landon, she said gently, if someone's bothering you, you can tell me. He opened his mouth, then shook his head. It's complicated. Ava stopped walking. So make it simple. Landon turned to her, and the streetlights reflected in his eyes. Eyes full of things he wasn't saying. You deserve honesty, he whispered. But I'm not ready for you to see the whole truth yet. Ava crossed her arms. Are you married? His face twisted with horror. No. God, no. That's not it. Kids? No. Criminal. He gave a tired half-laugh. Not even close. Then what is it that could possibly scare me? He held her gaze for a long, heavy moment. Ava, my life doesn't look like this. He gestured to the quiet street, the small restaurant, the simplicity of their night. I don't get moments like this. Not anymore. Ava softened a little. Everyone has a past. No, his voice lowered. This isn't about my past. It's about what I am right now. He reached into his pocket, slowly, almost reluctantly, and pulled out the phone again. He held it between them like it was some dangerous artifact. You saw the name that called earlier. Sir, she said. Yeah, that was hard to miss. Landon took a breath. Then another. Ava, that wasn't someone who knows me. That was someone who works for me. She blinked. Okay. And I've been trying not to let that matter around you. Ava stared at him, confused, searching. Are you some kind of CEO or something? He didn't answer. He didn't have to. His silence was the answer. Ava took a step back, realization dawning. No way, she breathed. Landon, are you? Before she could finish, a sleek black SUV turned the corner and slowed as it approached them. Not in a normal way, in a coordinated way. Too smooth, too controlled, too familiar with him. A man stepped out from the driver's side, tall, stone-faced, wearing an earpiece. Ava felt her heart drop. Sir, the man said, bowing his head. We've been trying to reach you. Landon closed his eyes in frustration. Not now. It's urgent. Ava looked between them, feeling the ground shift under her feet. Landon, she whispered. What's going on? He turned to her, guilt written all over his face. Ava, I didn't want you to find out like this. Find out what? That I'm not who you think I am. Ava's breath hitched. Then who are you, Landon? The man from the SUV answered for him. Ma'am, he said respectfully. He's Landon Hale, the sole heir and acting CEO of Hale International. Ava froze. Hale International. One of the biggest private empires in the world. A company she had heard about her entire life. A name spoken with awe, envy, sometimes fear. She looked at Landon, really looked at him, as if seeing him for the first time. You're... Her voice cracked. You're a billionaire? Landon's expression was heartbreaking. I wanted you to know me, Ava. Not the headlines. Not the money. Not the power. Just me. Ava took another step back. Her chest tightened. Her breaths quickened. Landon, why didn't you tell me? Because I didn't want you to leave, he said softly. The words hit her harder than anything. She didn't know what to say. She didn't know what to feel. But she knew one thing. He had been honest with her only when forced. And that terrified her. Ava swallowed hard and whispered, I need time. Landon's face fell, but he nodded. I'll give you anything you need. Just don't disappear on me. But Ava was already turning away. The night felt colder than before. More dangerous. More real. For the first time since meeting him, Ava wondered if letting him into her life had been the biggest mistake she'd ever made. As Ava walked away, the man from the SUV leaned close to Landon and whispered, Sir, if she discovers the real reason we've increased your security, everything changes. And Landon whispered back, She can never know. What would you do if you just found out the man you were falling for was a billionaire who hid his identity? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Ava's heartbeat thundered in her ears, louder than the distant hum of the city far below. She clung to Landon's arm, barely able to see anything beyond the faint glow of emergency lights flickering in the hallway. The footsteps grew closer, measured, cold, unhurried. Whoever had come wasn't afraid. Landon stepped in front of her, protective instincts surging through him like electricity. Ava, he whispered, stay low, stay behind me. But her feet felt rooted to the floor. A shadow moved near the kitchen. Another by the window. 3, no, 4 figures. The voice came again, deeper this time, mocking. Did you really think hiding behind your father's empire would protect you forever? Landon's jaw tightened. Ava felt him tense. A storm coiled beneath his skin. You shouldn't be here, Landon warned, his voice icy. Walk away. A harsh laugh filled the room. Walk away from the man who cost us billions? From the heir who pulled out of a partnership he had no right to cancel. You owe us, Landon. Ava's breath caught. This wasn't random. This was calculated. The figures stepped forward, tall, suited men with gloved hands and concealed weapons gleaming in the dim light. Landon moved closer to Ava, shielding her completely. You want me? He said. Fine. But she stays out of this. A beat of silence. Then the leader spoke. We can't let that happen. Ava felt the threat settle like ice in her veins. But Landon didn't break. His voice grew sharper, lower, more dangerous. Touch her, he said quietly. And I swear you won't leave this building. Ava had never heard him speak like that. Not as a billionaire. Not as an heir. But as a man who would burn the world down for the one he loved. The attackers moved. Fast. A sound exploded across the room. A loud crack as someone kicked over a glass table. Ava ducked instinctively. Landon shoved her behind a marble pillar just as 2 men rushed him. He fought like someone who'd been trained, precise, controlled, powerful. A punch. A block. A heavy thud as one man hit the ground. But another attacker grabbed Ava from behind. She gasped as a cold hand clamped over her mouth. Landon spun around instantly. Ava! The man holding her pressed something sharp against her ribs. Move, he warned Landon. And she bleeds. Ava trembled, terror creeping up her spine. Please, she whispered, voice shaking. Don't. The leader smirked in the darkness. Seems we've found the billionaire's weakness. Landon froze, but his eyes burned. Let her go, he said steadily. She's not part of this. Oh, she is now, the man hissed. Ava felt the pressure of the blade increase. Her breath hitched. Landon's voice broke. Stop. Don't hurt her. I'll do whatever you want. The leader stepped closer, enjoying every second. That's more like it. You'll sign back every contract, every investment, every asset you stole from us. And then, a sudden thud echoed behind him. The leader spun around. One of his own men collapsed to the ground, unconscious. Behind him stood a tall figure in all black, holding a stun baton. Landon's head jerked toward the silhouette. "Cole?" he breathed. Ava blinked. "Cole?" Landon's head of private security, the one he said handled the threats. The man stepped forward, mask hanging loosely around his neck. "Sorry I'm late," Cole muttered. "Ran into some friends downstairs." Chaos erupted. Cole moved like lightning, knocking the blade from the attacker's hand, grabbing Ava, pulling her safely behind him. Landon charged forward at the same time, slamming the leader onto the floor. The room filled with shouts, groans, crashing glass, then silence. One by one, the attackers fell stunned, immobilized, defeated. Ava pressed against the wall, shaking, gasping for air. Landon stumbled toward her, face bruised, shirt torn, breath ragged. "Ava, are you hurt?" She shook her head, tears clinging to her lashes. "No, but you." "I'm fine," he whispered, cupping her face with trembling hands. "I'm fine as long as you are." Her knees nearly gave out. He pulled her into his chest, gently, fiercely, as if she was the only thing anchoring him to the world. She felt his heartbeat pounding against her cheek. And in that moment she knew this was real. This was dangerous. This was love that didn't care about money, status, or fear. But before she could speak, Cole approached. "We have a problem," he said. Ava and Landon pulled apart. "What now?" Landon asked. Cole handed him a phone. "This wasn't a random attack," he said quietly. "It was a warning, and their employer just sent a message." Landon unlocked the phone. Ava watched the color drain from his face. "What does it say?" she whispered. Landon turned the screen toward her. A message glowed in red. "This was your first warning. Next time, we take everything." Ava's breath faltered. Landon's voice turned cold. "They're going after the woman I love." Ava froze. "Love?" He said love? But before she could respond, Cole spoke again. "We need to leave. Now." The world Ava knew was gone, and the new one she was being pulled into was darker, deeper, and more dangerous than anything she could have imagined. But one thing was certain. She wasn't walking away. Not now. Not after everything. Ava slipped her hand into Landon's as Cole led them toward the private emergency exit. For the first time, she didn't pull away, because she finally understood. This wasn't just a billionaire's secret life. It was a war, and she was now part of it. Do you think Ava should stay by his side or walk away before it gets worse? The private elevator hummed beneath their feet, carrying Ava, Landon, and Cole far from the chaos above. But safety wasn't guaranteed. Ava's hands trembled, gripping Landon's tightly. I can't believe this is happening," she whispered, her voice fragile. Landon glanced at her, his jaw tense, eyes stormy yet soft. "I know. I never wanted you in this. Never. You said it was just my bookstore, my quiet life," she muttered, anger and fear warring in her tone. And now, a deafening crash from above made the elevator shudder. The building seemed to groan in warning. Ava's heart slammed. "Someone's still in there," Cole muttered, scanning the security feed on his tablet. "They breached the inner floors. They know you're here." Ava felt panic twist in her stomach. "We can't just hide forever. They'll find us." Landon's hand tightened on hers. "I won't let them. Not you. Not anything that matters to me." For a moment their eyes met. Raw, honest, vulnerable. And in that gaze, Ava felt the pull, the magnetic, unshakable connection that had been building for weeks. But before she could respond, Landon's phone vibrated violently. He glanced at the screen, brows furrowing. Another message. Another threat. "We're coming for everything you love. Do not underestimate us again." Cole's expression darkened. "It's escalating faster than we thought." Ava's hands fell to her sides. "And you still want me to trust you?" she asked, voice trembling. Even after hiding all of this from me? Landon's shoulders slumped, his vulnerability breaking through the mask of control he usually wore. I didn't want you to fear me, or my world. I just wanted to protect you. But I see now, protection isn't enough. I need your trust. I need you with me. Ava's chest tightened. Love and fear collided violently. She wanted to pull away, to escape this dangerous world. But she also couldn't deny the fire inside her. Before either could act, the elevator jolted violently. A cold metallic screech echoed, sending Ava stumbling into Landon's arms. "Hold on!" he shouted, stabilizing her. The elevator lights flickered and went out completely, plunging them into darkness. Panic rose like a tidal wave. Cole's voice was steady but urgent. "Emergency override. We're stuck. I need you both to stay calm." Ava's heart raced. Stuck. Trapped. In the dark. With him. The realization sent shivers down her spine. "Landon," she whispered, voice barely audible. He pressed his forehead against hers. "I've got you. Whatever happens. I've got you." The words, the closeness, the danger. They ignited something she hadn't fully admitted. She was falling for him. Completely. Terrifyingly. Irrevocably. A sudden mechanical clank echoed through the shaft. The elevator shuddered again, then halted with a grinding screech. Cole cursed under his breath. It's stuck. Full power failure. We might have to climb out. Ava's stomach dropped. Climb out. Landon's eyes softened, holding hers with unwavering intensity. "I'll go first. I'll make sure it's safe. You follow." But Ava shook her head. "No, I'm not leaving your side. I'm not letting you face this alone." A tense pause. Landon swallowed hard. Then, with a small, almost imperceptible nod, he said, "Together, then." Cole muttered something, shaking his head, but didn't argue. The three of them moved cautiously, hands on walls, hearts hammering. Every shadow, every echo felt like a threat. Suddenly, a loud click reverberated above them. The elevator lights flickered back on for a second. Through the brief illumination, Ava saw it. A shadowy figure peering down the shaft at them. Her breath hitched. "Landon, look!" He froze, eyes narrowing. "It's them. They're still watching. Waiting." The lights cut out again. Total darkness. Ava clutched Landon's hand so tightly her knuckles ached. I don't know if I can do this," she admitted. Landon pressed a finger gently to her lips. "Yes, you can. We survive this. Together. Always." A voice hissed from above. A mocking, chilling tone that sent chills down her spine. "You can't hide from us forever. Not your money. Not your love. Not her." Ava's chest tightened. And in that moment, she realized. This wasn't just a billionaire's proposal. It was a battle for their hearts, their lives, and their future. The elevator suddenly jolted violently. Metal groaned. A loud snap echoed. And then, darkness swallowed them again. Will Ava and Landon survive the attack? Or will the next move cost them everything? Comment your predictions and make sure to subscribe. The elevator hung suspended, trembling, the air thick with tension and fear. Ava's fingers burned from gripping Landon's hand, and her heartbeat thudded painfully in her chest. Every shadow seemed alive, every sound a potential threat. Landon's jaw was set, his eyes scanning the faint shadows of the shaft. "We have one shot to get out. One chance. After that, we don't know." Ava swallowed, her throat dry. "And if we fail?" He turned to her, the vulnerability in his gaze raw. "Then we fail together. But I refuse to let anything happen to you. Not ever." Her chest tightened at his words. She wanted to believe him, to trust him fully. But fear clawed at her, reminding her of everything she'd seen tonight. The threats, the shadows, the unknown enemies waiting to strike. Ava's mind raced. "I'm scared. I've never been this scared in my life. And yet, I've never felt this alive." Landon's thumb brushed across her knuckles. "Ava, look at me. Right now. Not the threats, not the danger, just us." Her gaze met his, and everything shifted. Every moment they'd shared, the late-night conversations, The stolen touches, the laughter, the trust. They all converged in this single, impossibly tense instant. She began, voice trembling. I don't know if I'm brave enough. You are brave, Landon said softly, his hand cupping her cheek. And you're not alone. Not ever. Not tonight, not tomorrow. Whatever comes next, we face it together. But you have to choose to trust me, to choose us. Ava's chest heaved. She looked down the narrow shaft, then at the faintly glowing panel that indicated the elevator's precarious position. The danger was real. Death, exposure, betrayal. Everything she'd feared was here. And yet, she felt something else. A pulse of certainty, a fire that wouldn't be denied. She raised her eyes to his. I choose you, she whispered. Landon's lips curved into a tense, relieved smile. Good. That's all I needed to hear. Cole muttered from the corner, shaking his head. I can't believe you two are romantic in the middle of this disaster. Ava let out a shaky laugh, ignoring him. For the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. Even in darkness, even in fear, she wasn't alone. But the choice didn't make the danger vanish. A sudden bang echoed from above. The elevator groaned, the cables straining. Ava's stomach lurched. Landon grabbed her waist and pressed her close. Hold on, Ava. Now it gets serious. Cole activated the emergency panel. Sparks flew, and the elevator jolted violently again. We have to climb now. Ava's heart froze. Climb? Out into a dark, treacherous shaft with enemies lurking above? She looked at Landon, seeing the same mix of fear and determination mirrored in his eyes. I'm ready, she said. He nodded, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Together, no matter what. Step by step, they climbed, the elevator swaying beneath them. Every creak of metal sounded like a gunshot. Every shadow seemed to stretch, menacing and alive. Ava's fingers bled, her muscles screamed, but she didn't let go of Landon, and he didn't let go of her. Then, just as hope began to feel tangible, a shadow loomed directly above them. Going somewhere? A chilling, familiar voice hissed. Ava froze. Recognition hit her like a bullet. One of Landon's enemies. One she hadn't even anticipated. Landon whispered, "Keep moving. Trust me." She took a deep breath, and together they climbed. Every step was a declaration. Every heartbeat was a promise. Ava had chosen him, and now nothing, not fear, not darkness, not threats, could make her turn back. The shadow above lunged. Ava gasped. Landon moved instinctively, shielding her. But the enemy's intent was clear. Will they survive the climb? Can love withstand the danger closing in from above? Comment your predictions and hit subscribe. The shadow froze mid-lunge. Time seemed to stretch, elongated by fear and adrenaline. Then, a sharp metallic click echoed through the elevator shaft. Security. Landon's elite team, alerted by the penthouse alarms, had arrived just in time. The shadow faltered, stepping back as the sound of heavy boots approached from above. Ava clung to Landon's chest, trembling, heart pounding against his. We made it, she whispered, barely daring to believe it. Landon held her tighter. We did. Together. Nothing can take that from us. Minutes later, after the intruder was safely restrained and security had swept the area, Ava and Landon emerged from the elevator onto solid ground. The city lights stretched before them like a tapestry of possibilities. She let go of his hand, trembling with exhaustion and relief. I can't believe it. I thought I'd lose you. You didn't, he said, brushing her hair from her face. And I won't ever let that happen. Not to you. Not to us. The shadow froze mid-lunge. Time seemed to stretch, elongated by fear and adrenaline. Then, a sharp metallic click echoed through the elevator shaft. Security. Landon's elite team, alerted by the penthouse alarms, had arrived just in time. The shadow faltered, stepping back as the sound of heavy boots approached from above. Ava clung to Landon's chest, trembling, heart pounding against his. We made it, she whispered, barely daring to believe it. Landon held her tighter. We did. Together. Nothing can take that from us. Minutes later, after the intruder was safely restrained and security had swept the area, Ava and Landon emerged from the elevator onto solid ground. The city lights stretched before them like a tapestry of possibilities. She let go of his hand, trembling with exhaustion and relief. I can't believe it. I thought I'd lose you. You didn't, he said, brushing her hair from her face. And I won't ever let that happen. Not to you. Not to us. Ava studied him, really studied him, for the first time without fear clouding her gaze. Here was the man who had terrified her, fascinated her, and ultimately captured her heart. The billionaire she never expected, the man whose secrets had shaken her world, now stood before her completely exposed. Not just as Landon Hale, billionaire heir, but as someone profoundly human. I was so angry, she admitted softly. For the secrets, for the lies, for everything I didn't know about you. He smiled, gently taking her hands. And I understand. But the truth is, I had to protect you. I had to make sure we were safe before I could offer anything else. And now I can give you everything, he said, kneeling before her on one knee as the city's glow wrapped around them. But not just money, not just luxury. My heart. All of it. Ava Collins? Will you marry me? Ava's breath caught. Her eyes glistened with tears. Every fear, every hesitation, every shadow of doubt she had felt dissolved in that moment. She nodded, laughter and tears blending into one unrestrained release. Yes, yes, Landon. I will. Landon slid the ring onto her finger, and the world seemed to exhale with them. High above the city, two souls, once strangers, now irrevocably bound, embraced, the chaos of the night fading into the triumph of love. Later, in the quiet of his penthouse, they held each other close. Ava's head rested against Landon's chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. I never thought a bookstore could lead me here, she whispered. And I never thought hiding could lead me to you, he murmured. They laughed softly, the sound echoing through the vast space. Outside, the city continued, oblivious to the storm they had survived. Inside, they had found something far more precious. Trust, love, and the certainty that no secret, no threat, could ever break them again. Love had conquered fear. Secrets had been revealed. And their story, just beginning, promised hope, passion, and unexpected joy. If you believed in love that overcomes every obstacle, leave it in the comments and subscribe to Philia Heart for more billionaire love stories that will keep your heart racing. Don't miss the next incredible story. Thank you so much for watching my story all the way to the end. Your support means everything. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.